Hey guys, something I want to talk to you about. I just saw an article. I was on social media. This incident actually happened a couple of years ago. It happened back in May of 2023. But a 65-year-old woman who at the time was homeless and living in her minivan, I believe it was a Honda Odyssey minivan. A drunk driver hit her minivan, totaled the van, and she was severely injured. The police came and towed the van, but did not look inside to see if anyone is in there who might need help. They just assumed it was empty and towed it. She later died in the impound lot because she did not receive medical help. It was about a month later when employees at the impound yard smelled her body, her decomposing body, and that's when they found her. Uh, According to the article, there's currently more than likely a lawsuit happening against the police department in San Diego because they neglected to investigate, look inside, even look inside the van to see if anyone's in there. And if they had, they would have discovered her, and she probably would have survived. If they'd gotten her medical treatment, she could have survived. Which really brings up the topic about van life safety. I actually have a whole video on how to be safe, different ways to keep yourself safe, to protect yourself out there on the road. Because let's face it, I mean, vans are a lot more, how do I put it, susceptible to break-ins and homes. I mean, yes, people break in homes all the time, but vans, people see a van, they a lot of times may assume that no one's in there. They want to do a smash and grab, or we're parked on the side of the road and someone drives along, drunk driver comes and slams into us. And I've had many a night where I went to bed, I'm like, I kind of hope no one does that to me. I hope no one comes peeling around the corner. I hope no drunk driver comes along and smashes into me. Um, I've probably spent a majority of my van life sleeping on the side of the road. Where I live right now, I mean, I can park anywhere, pretty much anywhere I want. In one area, I can park for 72 hours, not a problem. Another area, I can park as long as I want to. I could be, the spot I'm in right now, I could be here for 2 months straight and nobody would bother me. So, but I am on the side of the road. Now I'm on a flat, like a straight stretch. It's highly unlikely anybody will crash into me, but it can happen. In fact, when I first started doing van life, I was in Santa Barbara and I parked on a turnout right where the road turned. And there, at the time, there's a couple other RVs and their van parked there, so I kind of felt safe. The whole safety in numbers thing, I felt safe, so I just parked there. And then around 7 o'clock, I noticed everyone left, and I was by myself on this spot, which is kind of a little creepy for me to begin with. But also because the turnout was right where the road turns, almost a 90-degree turn, I got really worried about that. What if someone, middle of the night, drunk or just not paying attention, going too fast, doesn't make that turn and they crash right into me? I mean, this is a nice solid van, but if a car plows into me, I don't know how tough this thing's going to be. Odds are it'll kill me if they do that, depending on where they strike the van, or seriously injure me and definitely destroy my entire home. It's really distressing to think that an accident like that in a van or automobile or whatever, I guess unless it's completely obvious it's something that people live in, like it's clearly a camper van, like you've got like lifted and the wheels and the rooftop, the solar panels on top, and if it's obvious someone lives in there, yeah, but it may not always be obvious someone lives in the van. It may not be totally obvious to people that I live in my van. I mean, I got the windows blacked out, but there's nothing on the outside of my van that says, I'm a van lifer, I live here. There's no solar panels on top. I don't have a storage carrier on top or rooftop deck. I don't have a antenna on top. What do you call them? The Wii Boost or Starlink sitting on top. I mean, unless you really walk up close, I don't think most people know that I live in my van. I've actually parked in places before where it's like I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be there or not. and no one bugged me because I just looked like a van on the side, parked on the street. There are a few things I've taken to ensure my safety, or at least ensure that I'm not lost, so to speak, if something happens to me. I do like to go off grid sometimes, go to the beach or go to the woods, and I've actually gotten the habit of letting people know where I'm going. I have a couple of really good friends here in town, so I'll text them and go, hey, I'm going to the beach up at this beach, or I'm going out to the woods at this camp spot or whatever. I'm going out here. I won't have service, so I can't contact anybody in case of emergency, but I'm planning on being back, 2 days' time in the afternoon. So I'll be like, if you don't hear from me by Tuesday afternoon, call me, see if I'm okay. Which is something I always recommend to you if you're doing anything, going camping, going hiking, backpacking, especially if you're going backpacking. Let people know where you're going. Let them know what your route is. That way, and let them know you're gonna be back. Because if you don't check in, then they know to send someone out after you. I hear a lot of stories about people who don't tell anyone where they're going or where they're going to be back, and they get lost or they get hurt, and because nobody knew where they were, they didn't know where to look. Um, yeah, as far as what happened to that lady, a car hitting them and no one looking inside, that's scary. That is scary. And I guess you figure, well, if the car hits you and you're killed instantly, well, I mean, if you're dead, you're dead. Or should I say unalived? I don't know. But it does, like I said, it gets worrisome, and it's definitely something to worry about, to think about, to be concerned with, and to try and make sure that, people know. People know where you are, what you're doing, if it's possible. I know a lot of times you're just traveling around and going city to city to city, and I did the same thing for, when I first started doing it, I was traveling for like 5 months. And I was always in a different spot, different city, different area, wasn't sure where I was. And typically I would like text like a friend or family member, hey, I'm staying here tonight, I'm staying there tonight. Um, yeah, and it really makes you think like van life is getting more and more popular. More and more people are doing it, and are also more and more areas are passing ordinances against it, not allowing it. At the same time, if you have an accident, how many people are really going to go, oh, maybe someone's living in there? Should we check to make sure everyone's okay? Because car is a car at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's highly unlikely anybody's in the parked car or vehicle or whatever. But more and more people are doing that. And unless you know what to look for, you don't always realize it. Before I got into van life, I never noticed vans parked on the side of the road. I never noticed like that or this or whatever. But now that I do van life, I'll see a van or a car or truck or whatever on the side of the road. I'm like, I bet someone lives in there. I think that's someone's home, you know. And it's getting easier to spot them. Not just like the big vans with the 4-wheel drive, like the big tires. Like look at they're ready to overlanding, that kind of stuff. Yeah, you see that clearly. Someone's living in that van. That's a camper van. A lot of times though, people are really stealth, like me. I'm a very stealth van lifer. Unless you know what to look for, you don't know I'm living in my car. And if that happened to me, I don't know for a fact that anybody would bother to look inside or knock or whatever to see if I'm okay. And if I'm injured and I'm knocked unconscious, I can't ask for help. I can't call for help. I can't let anyone know I'm in there. If I'm severely injured, I'm bleeding out, and they just tow the van away, what's going to happen? So, I don't have an answer for this situation. I don't have, the solution that people might need. Like, how do we take care of this? I feel like it's just going to be an issue of we need to make sure that we just pay more attention. You know, if you're a first responder, you know, pay more attention. I know I've not been a first responder. I've never been on the scene of an accident. I don't know what it's like to be in the moment and have to make a decision. I don't know what it's like to go through a trauma situation, you know. But it's like, yeah, just kind of, I don't know how we do this. This is something that we need to work on together as a community to make sure that people know to look to see what's happening here. Um, there was a situation not too long ago near here. Some guy parked his car on the side of the road. He committed suicide. He unalived himself, whatever the algorithm wants me to say. But he took his own life and he locked himself in the trunk and took his life. And he was in the trunk of his car for 2 months. Uh, Cops kept putting tickets on the window, just kept putting tickets, bunch of tickets built up. No one bothered to try and see what was going on. The guy just sat there, laid there, whatever, for 2 months, dead. Obviously, they couldn't have saved his life because he committed suicide, but it's like what's happening where people aren't paying attention? If you've got a car parked illegally for several days, don't let it sit there. Maybe check it out. Maybe someone's in the trunk or somewhere in the car that you can't immediately see. Maybe they're in trouble. Maybe they need help. It could be a kidnap victim locked in the trunk, and they just left him there to die or whatever. We don't really know what's happening, and we feel like really people need to really pay more attention. Really need to look further. If you're a first responder and I'm talking out my ass and you think I'm full of shit, tell me I'm full of shit. Leave a comment, tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and I will accept that. Because again, I've never done that job. I was an EMT back in the 90s, but I did a clinic car. I volunteered with the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic, where I basically worked rock concerts, but I was never involved in a situation like that in the field where, I've never been involved in that situation. I've never had to make those choices in the field. All I can say was when I saw that article, it really kind of hit me hard and made me realize that, there are a lot of dangers in my lifestyle, and I've been kind of like putting them out of my mind, not trying to dwell on it or think about it too much, because I want to enjoy it. I love van life. I love being a van lifer. I love parking a different spot every night when I sleep. I like having a different view when I wake up and have my morning coffee. I like the fact that, my boss lets me park in the parking lot and I can park at work. And when I'm ready to go to work, I just get dressed and I walk across the parking lot and go to work. That's very convenient. I don't have to commute to work. I'm right there whenever I want to be. Kind of freaks me out a little bit to really think about that. What would happen to me in that situation? There are people I have notified. I have emergency contacts, and they have lists of people to call to say, hey, something happened to Aaron, which I think all of us should have. Everyone, period, should have that. But definitely van lifers, some sort of contact information listed somewhere in the van. Your wallet, glove compartment, tape it to your dashboard. I don't know, somewhere where something happens to you, police or EMT see it and they go, okay, we need to contact somebody. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Something going on in my mind. I don't know if it's been in your mind. If you're a fellow van lifer, I don't want to freak you out, but definitely something to think about in terms of maybe where you sleep. If you decide to park on the side of the road, kind of pay attention to what road you're on. If you're on a road that's near some bars, maybe don't park there because drunk drivers. If it's a road where people drive 45, 50, 60 miles an hour, maybe don't park along that road because someone can just get out of control. Don't park on a turnout where the road turns. It's so easy for people to just lose control. And if you are parking on the side of the road, park near a light. Park where people can see you. You want to be stealth, but you also want to be seen. You don't want people you don't want to be invisible. You want to be stealth. Don't stick out like a sore thumb, but don't disappear either. Because that is not always going to work out for you. So, anyway, I just want to share this with you guys, and I hope that you are all doing well. If you're a fellow van lifer, I wish you wonderful travels. I hope everything is going well for you. Um, if you're not a van lifer, watch out for us out there. Most of us are really great people, and we just want to chill and hang out and get a good night's sleep on the side of the road. It's bad enough that we hear cars go by. It's bad enough that when big trucks go by, the wind kind of shakes the van side to side, So, and not having to worry about someone slamming into you and possibly ending your life or severely injuring you. We just don't. That's not something we need to have a worry about. Can a car crash into your home? Yeah, of course it can. It's happened many times. A really good friend of mine had a cop car go right through and drive right into his apartment. Went right through the wall into the couch, which he had been sitting on 5 minutes before the accident happened. So yeah, this can happen anywhere, anytime, to anyone. But again, we are a little more vulnerable out here because a vehicle is not as solid as a house, you know? And if a house catches fire or car or plane or crashes into a house, especially at nighttime, the first thing they do is look for survivors. They may not always do that with vans. They may not bother to look. They may not think to look. So, anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got something out of this video. And again, you guys have any questions, comments, leave them below. Again, if you think I'm full of crap, tell me I'm full of crap. If you agree with what I say, let me know. If you have ideas, if you have a solution to these problems, let me know. Put them in the comments below. So, thanks a lot for watching, and you guys have a good one. Be well.